We're all interacting with AI pretty much constantly, through chatbots, social media, even our Google searches. But what's really going on behind that smooth, automated curtain? Well, there's a massive hidden workforce. Today, we're pulling back that curtain to look at AI's invisible engine, the people who power it, and the very real cost of their work.
It's a really simple question, but it's so important. When you ask a chatbot something dangerous, and it just refuses to answer, how did it learn to do that? Where's that boundary line? The answer isn't just some brilliant piece of code. It's one of the biggest and maybe one of the most difficult secrets in the entire AI industry.
So, what's the secret ingredient that makes AI safer and more accurate? Well, the surprise is it's us. It's people. And the industry has a very specific, very official-sounding name for it. The official term is Human in the Loop, or HIL for short. And the way it's framed is pretty fascinating, right? It sounds so collaborative, like this perfect partnership where humans provide the critical thinking and oversight, and the AI provides the speed and the power. And this quote just perfectly illustrates that positive spin. The industry presents HIL as this amazing way for humans to guide AI to make sure the results are ethical and unbiased. It's a really comforting idea, but it's only half the story. So how do they get people to do this work? Well, this whole collaborative idea is built on a very simple promise, made to millions of people who are looking for a job. And the pitch, it's incredibly appealing. This, for example, is from Amazon's Mechanical Turk platform, which is a huge hub for this kind of work. The promise is all about flexibility and easy access. Anyone, anywhere in the world can just log on and start earning money by doing these little micro tasks. Sounds great, right? And what exactly are these simple tasks? Well, on the surface, they seem pretty harmless. Tagging a stop sign in a video for a self-driving car, checking a restaurant's phone number, transcribing a quick audio clip. It's the kind of repetitive work that keeps the digital world humming. But this list? This is the sanitized version. It leaves out the most difficult and the most damaging tasks of all. Because behind that promise of simple, easy money lies a much, much darker reality for the global workforce that's responsible for keeping our online spaces safe and our AI models ethical. So let's just ask the question directly. Who are these people? And what does it really, truly feel like to be the human filter for an artificial intelligence? Listen to this. This is Alex Kairu, who used to work as a content moderator training these exact AI systems. And his experience, it's a world away from the promise of simple tasks. He says the work left him introverted and that his physical relationship with his wife suffered. It just begs the question, right? How can a job on a computer cause that level of real-world harm?
Well, the logic behind it is actually pretty simple, and it's also completely brutal. For an AI to learn how to spot toxic or violent content, it has to be trained on just massive amounts of it. It needs to see countless negative examples so it can understand what to filter out. And that means a human has to look at that content first and label it.
The sources we have paint a truly grim picture of what these negative examples are. One former worker who was training models for OpenAI, they were asked to write detailed descriptions of things like cannibalism. A TikTok moderator talked about watching a video of a mother murdering her own baby. These workers report seeing content that depicts murder, rape, child abuse, and suicide, sometimes up to 700 times in a single day.
And the psychological fallout, as you can imagine, is just profound. Moffat Okinyi, another former moderator, said the paranoia he developed from the job actually led to the end of his marriage. He told reporters, flat out, "I lost my family." Another worker, identified only as Faith, said the job left her so terrified she couldn't even let her own kids have a sleepover at their grandmother's house.
Okay, so none of this is happening by accident. This work is part of a very deliberate global system that's been designed for one thing: maximum efficiency at the absolute minimum cost. Researchers have a name for this hidden industry. They call it ghost work. It's basically an on-demand workforce, hired for short-term tasks through all these different platforms and contractors. And it's designed from the ground up to be invisible, which allows the big tech companies to build and maintain their automated systems without ever having to directly employ the people doing the really grueling stuff. And a huge feature of this system is the insane wage gap. A data worker here in the US might make around $15 an hour for this stuff, but for the exact same kind of toxic data labeling, a worker in Kenya might be making less than $2 an hour. Now, some people try to defend this, saying it's a fair wage for the local economy, but critics are calling it what it is: a poverty wage.
This table really shows you how the layers of separation work. You've got the household names we all know, OpenAI, TikTok, at the very top. They hire these massive contracting firms, like Sama, who then employ thousands of workers in hubs like Nairobi, Kenya. This structure creates a deliberate, calculated distance between the tech giants making billions and the actual labor conditions on the ground.
But here's the thing. This invisible workforce is starting to make itself heard. They're responding to the low pay and the heavy psychological toll, and they're beginning to organize and demand some real change.
And independent watchdogs are starting to take notice too. The Fair Work Project, which evaluates labor conditions, gave Sama, that's the contractor used by OpenAI and formerly by Meta, a fairness score of just 4 out of 10. That's a failing grade, highlighting some really significant problems with how workers are protected. This has all led to some pretty concrete action. Workers in Kenya have actually filed lawsuits against these major companies, and in what was a huge move in May of 2023, moderators in Nairobi formed the very first trade union for content moderators in Africa. Their demands are crystal clear: fair pay, job security, and real, meaningful mental health support.
Ultimately, advocates like Corey Kreider argue that the responsibility for all of this lies right at the top. She makes the crucial point that outsourcing isn't just about saving money, it's a tactic. It's a way for these tech companies to create distance from the very real human consequences of building AI.
And so, all of this leaves us with one final and really critical question. We all benefit from safer online spaces and more capable AI, right? And it's all powered by this hidden workforce. But as we continue to build out this automated future, who is responsible for the people who have to confront the absolute worst of humanity to make it all possible?